Bro. Heat in the kitchen. Episode 21.
What's up, Corey?
Ooh, I like these microphones.
They're nice, yeah. Let's just hope Ronnie isn't completely heated that we moved his room mics.
So he can join Heat in the kitchen at some point.
It's kind of like awkward not being able to see ourselves on camera. You know what I mean? But yeah, welcome to Heat in the Kitchen. Is it? You said it's episode 21?
21, yeah.
That's crazy, right? I mean, I wish it was more consistent over. It's a weird year to have started a podcast. Hey, so today is actually the 1 year anniversary of like a lot of the shutdown stuff. So it's the 1 year anniversary of like when schools officially closed. For me, it's the 1 year anniversary of like that meeting I always talk about having with my staff where I first like addressed with them all like sort of worst case scenarios as to like how things were going to go down. So to me, it's like just another one of the measuring sticks, you know, as to how long this thing has lasted and how crazy it's been. For anybody who's watching this on Facebook Live or anybody that goes ahead and listens to this through, whatever you use for podcasts, Apple, I don't know, whatever else there is.
Yeah, I think everybody uses Apple, right?
Is that, I don't know.
assuming.
I mean, Apple
That's
owns
the one I
world.
always link to. I'm like, yeah, everybody probably has an iPhone.
Yeah, I guess I
Or
assume.
Spotify, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't
but that's a bias, right? But anyway, for anybody that we're in the new studio that's now in the basement of Simca, which is kind of dope.
kind of dope. You're like, oh yeah, I built a studio, send me a picture. And then I come in here, it's like, holy shit.
No, it's a studio. That's my dog. Ronnie built this. This is all his equipment. He's the musician in the group. But I did start writing again, which is cool. I'm excited about that. I need some place to put my energies other than Facebook.
We need Heat in the kitchen intros again.
Yeah, we'll get back to that eventually. You just gotta not put me on the spot, dog. Like I just don't wanna.
What? Freestyle.
Nah.
Kick
So anyway,
it old school.
yeah, kick it old school. So anyway, so you know,
1 year.
it's
So
just
what's the
been a year.
deal? What's the deal with the restaurant industry?
Everybody I talk to is super optimistic right now. I think that's a lot of us just being like, look, if we're still here, that means we survived to some degree, right? Although it's not over. So like the last couple of weeks, it's been feeling like Simca was picking up. There's definitely an energy about it, but then it can dip. Like all of a sudden, it just dips a little. So I think outdoor dining is going to be big this year.
Yeah, what's the plan? I was gonna say you're gonna do the beer garden again.
Like outside at Simca.
Yeah, yeah.
A little bit less permanent, honestly. So like, just trying to keep it cool with some of the neighbors. My poor landlord has to like negotiate like all the tenants, and it's crazy. It's like not everybody
Don't you want
thinks.
traffic?
Well, I agree, but like that's the thing is like I think big, and then there's a lot of people that think really small.
Yeah.
So like, legitimately, their hang up, I'm not even making this up, is losing the front parking spots. Like they concern themselves with like two
my
or three
God.
parking spots, which to me it's like, listen,
You could park a community college out there.
exactly like yeah, there's like 450 spots. If somebody said, for anybody that's never been to Simca or Ala Esh, like we're in a plaza with 17 storefronts, and there are 450 parking spots. Like this lot, it looks busy when the lot is 20% full. You can't fill this lot. It's actually like the reason why I saw
You
it.
take up like 10 spots, not even.
Right, not even. And so no, it's like 6 spots. But the problem is it's like right. So the coolest tenant about it honestly is the one guy who like, yeah, it sucks for him because his business is right between my two restaurants. So I can understand where like for him that would mean like his customers coming to get their haircut would have to like legitimately like walk all the way
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
But honestly, somebody
Probably
here,
some old heads.
yeah, they're definitely all old. But this one guy here in town put it really well to me. He's like, front rows are like important until they're not there, and then there's a different row that's the front row. Like at the end of the day, if you had to park 20 feet away in order to walk around like our dining area, it really wouldn't be that big a deal at all.
No.
But and the thing that frustrates me obviously is that, like I understand where that's tough on these guys, but at the same time it's like not nearly as tough as what I'm going through. But whatever, we pieced it out, like we made it work. Our dining area is gonna be like, so instead of like, we're just gonna have the corners there. We're gonna leave the whole middle open so he can have his parking during the day, and then we're gonna close that up at night. It's not gonna look as cool, but this year I got like a bunch of propane heaters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, from over by you guys actually in Norwood, Norwood Bottled Gas, like right there on Route 1. We use them for everything with the food trucks.
Yeah, yeah. I've been there with you.
Yeah, and Ben's just the man, and so he's setting me up with 3 heaters that should cover like more than the square footage.
So you're gonna start this up soon.
Yeah, by the end of this month. So we
nice
actually
out,
we actually did our outdoor dining on Thursday night for the first time.
Oh, no shit.
And again, this is why my industry, like this is why people like me who have made the choice not to come indoors need this, is because
Yeah. Oh
man,
God.
we did 400% of what we've been averaging on Thursday.
Oh, yeah,
And that was
sure.
just one Thursday. And it was
Right.
just one Thursday at 60 degrees. It wasn't even like, and it's just like, oh, we had 20% booze sales. Like, yeah, we need that, man. Like,
Right.
you know, and so, and you know, not to pat myself on the shoulder or on the back more than I already do, but I didn't have an extra staff person on for that. Like the truth is, like these people are being paid anyway.
Right.
So like we do need the revenue. Like eventually,
yeah.
right? I mean, like my
You can't just
accountants,
keep paying people forever and not have any revenue coming in.
right? I mean, that's exactly it. Is like eventually there stops being blood from the stone. Although I will say, I mean, the government honestly has done a better job than people say they have. Like there's a lot of stuff that a lot of small business owners don't understand about some of the things that the CARES Act have created. So like the CARES Act does. It actually doesn't just give you PPP. It then, in addition, like gives you some tax credits that you can use. So, hold on. Ronnie's asking me now. He's getting back. It's all good. He's recording podcast now. We're in here recording.
I think, no, I mean, well, the government's going to help out somewhat, obviously, but like, there's no one that's going to survive solely based on the government giving them checks. You know, you got to survive and adapt, right? It's not like you're going to be all of a sudden like, oh, run a smart business because the government gave you some money to keep you afloat. You know what I mean? You have to be adaptable.
Yeah, I think that's very true, but I do think at the same time, like, don't underestimate the power of capital.
Well,
So,
obviously, yeah, you need cash.
right. At the end of the day, you need cash, and the government, I think, has done a decent job of being able to get that to people. And you know, by the way, like not in a non-partisan way. I mean, I know that it's crazy partisan, the stuff that's happening when they're negotiating the bill.
nothing's even- the
But I'm
funny
just
thing-
trying to make the point because let's not do
Go,
that.
I'm
today.
not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, but I'm just saying.
I'm doing the opposite of what you do. I'm not going to dive into that shit. I'm
gonna say
literally
there's no
just
partisan.
saying. I'm literally just saying that both administrations, two different administrations, had to put this out, and both of them got the money to the people. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to say the opposite. They both didn't get the money to the people. But
So I'm talking about businesses. So,
yeah. Okay.
All right. I mean, the reality is that like one thing that you just like, unless you go case by case and ask individual business owners, "Yo, did you get PPP?" I don't know a small business owner that says no. Like,
Yeah.
And so
I'm not talking about PPP.
yeah.
I'm talking about individuals.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, like, I don't think that the individuals need the money. I mean, I'm not saying no individuals need the money. I'm saying most individuals.
Well, you kept your wait staff on.
Correct.
You know what I mean? How many restaurants have, you know, all those waiters and waitresses in the world?
Yep. So let me be clear though, because again, I want to be very clear. I don't begrudge those people a penny of the stimulus money. That's fine. And obviously, anybody that's hurting financially that took a loss on this on a personal level, like yes, bartenders, servers,
Right.
absolutely need that stimulus money, and it's super impactful for them. My point here is that we blindly gave it to everyone, and a lot of those servers and bartenders, you know, if you went on, I guess like I just think like we also doubled up, we added $600 to unemployment. So like in a way, if the only people that are hurt are the people who saw their income decrease but didn't get unemployment. If you got unemployment, the math says you should have come out ahead last year.
Yeah, but I
if you're
think
on unemployment.
I think a lot of the issue is like, you know, if your restaurant's open 25% capacity or whatever,
Yep.
like no one's coming into your restaurant. You can't file an employment. I'm still waiting tables, but I'm waiting 4 tables a night now instead of 20.
No,
so you know what I mean. So like I can't catch unemployment.
So
on
those
that,
are the people-
But my income is.
So those are exactly who I'm saying the stimulus was needed for. Like, I'm not saying that no individual needed money. I think
Right.
there's a certain percentage of the public that needed to get this money. I'm just saying that, like, I know a lot of people personally who, like, look, at the end of the day, dining dollars are down last year. Retail dollars are down last year. Almost every sector that depends on their local economy is down last year, and we pumped a ton of stimulus money into the economy. So, like, at the end of the day, you know, it's just unfortunate, and I don't need to go on a diatribe about people and their buying habits, but like, I just wish to God. So you know, I always say like to people, oh, you know, when I'm frustrated, I'll be like, oh, they only made one me. Like that's the thing is like, I really do what I say I'm gonna do. I wish other people were like that. Like these people, and maybe I don't know if it's because people are dumb or because they don't care. Maybe it's just they're inherently selfish. But how many people say like things like support local, support local, support local? But like the truth is like they haven't left their house in 3 days except to go to the front porch. crap actually in Sharon for, I think you've known me a long time. At the end of the day, sometimes I'm talking, and I'm saying it for everybody, and we all know that I'm keeping it real, but there's a lot of people in the room that won't say it. So like, there's a lot of business owners that feel the same way I feel, but they don't say it.
Right.
And I get memes from them, I get texts from people, we talk, but I'm the one that says it publicly, and then I take a little heat for it, especially in sharing. Where it's funny because people will. Did I tell you I got the COVID here? This COVID hero among us from the Deposit River Valley Chamber of Commerce.
No, you did not.
They literally actually just brought the award 2 days ago. They gave it to me like in December or something, but they just brought it, and it's actually like a citation from the state senate, all this, and there's so many people that are
That's
like,
your boy Ted, isn't it? That's your boy Ted.
No, he's a
state senate
representative. He's not a state senate.
Shit.
It had nothing to do with Ted.
All right, I was joking.
Yeah. No, I know, but there's no corruption there. No, it has nothing to do with Ted.
Well, did it come with the cash awards?
The only thing Ted does is what he should be doing for the populace, and I always applaud him for that. And if I could ever help, I would. What I think is, anyway, the point that I'm trying to get to is like people will say like, oh, Hav, like it's amazing how much you do for the community. Oh, we appreciate it so much, and like I really, really do. You know, like I really, really do.
Yeah.
And by the way, I do, and I don't want to be that guy being like, oh, if you only knew how much I really do. I'm saying like people see like this tip of the iceberg, and then they go like, wow, it's amazing how much you do. They don't know that like everything I actually do, and then they feed me like lines and excuses about how like they don't. Well, they got kids, so do I. I got 2 of them. And I'm not like some uninvolved father. I drop off and pick up. You know what I mean? Like I'm.
Avi, you keep it moving. Anybody who knows you knows you keep it moving.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I don't know if they really know.
They don't know you though.
That's exactly it. Is
know
that they
what I mean?
don't really know me. So like now, I'm running for school committee.
Yeah,
so
I
like
know.
I'm running for school
I
committee.
laughed at that last
And
time.
there's a lot of people that are like,
And
oh,
then since
like,
then you built a studio in your basement.
Exactly.
Started writing rhymes again.
And then there are people that are like, oh, you're not going to be able to do that. Listen, they only built one me. Like you wouldn't be able to do it. I can do it. Like this is who I am and what I do. And anyway, my point is that like, so they go, oh, Avi, it's amazing how much you do for a community. It's amazing how much you do for your community. We love it. Until I tell them that something's hurting like the business community, then all of a sudden I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like so for example in Sharon, and it's happened everywhere. I've seen it. I got buddies that have places in the city. There's a lot of people, and I want to be really clear. Okay, if you are an industry, a food industry or beverage industry professional, and you're just making a pivot, listen, you're a hustler. I got your back. That's dope. If you're doing pop-ups, if you're doing, if you're just like creating your new brand, you're launching it, I rock with that 100%. Like at the end of the day, I always tell anybody that works for me when they go to try to start their own thing, I always say I'm the last person on earth that can tell somebody not to chase their dreams, right? I do it whenever I feel like it. So I would never tell somebody.
You chase things that aren't even in your dreams sometimes.
Exactly. I don't own people. So like, and no business owner, by the way, owns people, and they should know that. Because like at the end of the day, like don't take my recipes with me. Don't try to grow off of my back. Like go out there, but you can absolutely say that you did what you did. Like if you want to go start a pop-up series, you want to be like, oh, formerly I was the sous chef at some. You should do that. Like you earn that. That's you.
Right.
If you want to go start your own thing, like honestly, don't burn the bridge. Like do it the right way. Reach out to me though, because there's a lot I can do for you.
Yeah. Right.
But so I want to be clear, because when I criticize like some of the stuff that's been popping up, I never want somebody who's like an industry professional and this is what they do, and now they decided to go out on their own thinking that I'm mad at them. Like no, at the end of the day, like if you like Kate Holacek, she was at Simcoe when we first opened. She's done a ton of stuff through the industry. We don't agree on everything. We don't see eye to eye on everything by far. And I think we move differently. But she just like started a donut concept, and I think that's go do you. Like I actually bought some of the donuts. She was cool enough to send some to my staff. Like you should go start your own business. I told her that back when she was rocking with Simcoe. Like you should go start your own business, because if you believe that you're the best person in the room for the job, then you should go chase it. And I'm proof positive that sometimes can work. My boy Falco, like he used to work at the smoke shop when I first met him. Like he's making his own hot sauces now, and he's getting them out there. Like that's dope. Like that's somebody who really does it.
Well, everybody
like,
wants to. You want to be your own boss.
of course.
Right?
Well, yeah, most people, not everybody.
No,
to be honest.
not everybody.
And I think some days, like, I wish that I wasn't. I mean, some days I think, like, I could be really happy not being. But remember when you used to work for somebody? Who was the person telling you, go work for you?
Yeah.
Me.
No,
so, like,
for a minute.
I do believe in that. And I believe in people like that. Like, Falco, go get yours. Like, you're making dope product, and you should put it out. Those are not the people I'm criticizing. I'm criticizing the people who are not starting it for a business reason. They're not hustling because they need to pay their bills and they need to feed their family. They're just like, they got this sort of like dream, and they're deciding to go launch it. And I'm not saying never do it. Adley and Adina. Those are 15 that Simca could have gotten 8 of, right? And so when Simca does numbers like that, we should never do, like ever. In a way that only I can be. What sucks about that is that you've taken David and you've made him appear to be Goliath. So if I then try to crush you the way that you're trying to come at me, I look like a monster. It'll actually affect, like, all of a sudden, I'm not the guy that gave 300, that provided food at cost to families for 300 families a week for like 16 weeks. I'm not the guy that fed all the children that our school system failed here in town. I'm not the guy that delivered more than 3,000 boxes of groceries and cleaning supplies to families. Kids' mouths. I owe it to my family and my team, my real community. I owe it to them to be the one to stand up. There's a lot of things I know.
I don't kind of understand though. What's the criticism coming from? Like people are
So businesses when I claim that they should have to play by the same rules as me. So for example, like in Sharon, there was a woman selling some food product, savory meat and cheese food product. I want to be clear about what I'm talking about because I say things and then people think like
you're talking about somebody else.
People spin it. Like
Yeah.
there's this woman in Sharon, by the way, she makes cocoa bombs and she makes dope cocoa bombs.
Ooh.
And and she does a really nice job at it, man, and people love her. And like I said something about people that weren't licensed in town. To be clear, I mean, I'll say it. I was speaking specifically about somebody who was selling empanadas from their house, bro. And the thing is, you can't get a food license to sell empanadas from your house. That's not even a thing. You legally cannot do it. You can't. There's lots of reasons. That person obviously didn't know because they're not in the world I live in. I carry plenty of certifications. I really, really do this. So I knew how wrong that was. And it got spun like the poor woman who, whoa, that was not intentional. I was like the whole woman, and I said something funny there. The whole thing about it.
Empanada?
But that's not, the whole thing about it is the poor woman who's making the cocoa bombs then comes to see me and she's like, hey, she's like, sorry, I was like checking my phone. Ronnie still texts me about these mics. I'm like, the poor woman who's making the cocoa bombs thinks that like I came at her, and like then we have to hash it out. But like I didn't come at her. That's not my beef. Like my beef is with people that are doing things that are unsafe and illegal. Somebody's commented something.
I got you.
Oh, it's my sister.
You keep cutting out. Sorry, Ro.
Sorry about that, Ronnie. The internet's a little rough in our basement here.
I know we need the connection here.
The good news is that when you go watch this, like actually where podcasts are, or YouTube, you'll be able to see the whole thing. So anyway, so my point is like that's definitely a frustration during this pandemic.
Yeah.
And as we sit here on the 1 year anniversary, it's like people are going to say like, oh man, he overcame this and he overcame that and he overcame this. I want it to be clear, I overcame that too. Yeah. Like that's not, you were not a help to me, you were a hurdle.
There's going to be people though that are starting shit because they don't have any other choices.
Which I rock with 100%. But I want to be clear.
I mean, you still have to do it the right way. About those people, but
right, you still have to do it the right way.
Sell stuff from your house.
Right, you still have to do it the right way. And not for nothing, again, like you said, they don't know me, so they don't know. Like I'm the kind of person like I don't just say it. I do the homework. Like I don't come because like again, like fair is fair. Like at the end of the day, so when I took over the barbecue spot, I took over a lease that had. Do you know what a lease exclusion is? So like commercial leases, restaurant leases in particular, have like a whole list of stuff that you cannot serve, because like that no one else in the plaza or whatever can serve.
Yeah.
So when I opened Simca, like
there's already a barbecue joint, you can't have a barbecue joint.
Exactly. So when I opened Simca, like I didn't put any lease exclusions out there. When I opened Al Ash, I took over a lease that had like 4 pages of lease exclusions. Like this is how corny it was, Corey. When Simca wanted to make shakshuka, I had to get permission to use eggs because there were eggs as a lease exclusion from the person next door to me. So when I got that lease, what do you think I did with it? I ripped up the whole 4 pages. I said to my landlord, like, I'm good. If they want to set up Simca next to me, they can set up Simca next to me and let's go. We'll go. Now we're in the middle of a pandemic now, okay? So now all of a sudden, like, you want to open a place and you want to sell what I sell, or you want to try to capitalize off of what I do. And to me, normally I would just like, let's just put the track shoes on and let's run the race and let's see how it goes. In the middle of a pandemic, my hands are tied. I don't like that. And I especially don't like somebody with much less infrastructure than me setting up right next to me. I'm the guy who, I think I said it in print, honestly, when food trucks were first new in Boston and brick and mortars hated us. I did some math and I found out that like Union Oyster House was paying $36,000 a year in real estate taxes. I was like, all right, they're right. I'm like, they're right. Like they're right. I'm sitting across the street from them. I'm paying the city $50.
Yeah.
That's not right. Like that isn't right.
Right.
There needed to be a way to sort that out because I shouldn't be able to. They shouldn't be paying the city $36,000 a year for the right to sit there contributing to the city's bills, and then I can just roll up. I'm a Canton-based business, the Joey Chickpea. So like,
Right.
believe it or not, even the meals taxes that we collect are going to Canton, not to Boston. So
Really?
well, so it's a state thing, but a lot of people don't know how it works. The local, the 0.75. So you know how you pay 7% most places?
Yeah.
So 6.25 goes to the state.
Yeah.
0.75 goes to the local municipality. So when you buy a sandwich in Norwood,
Yeah.
when you buy a sandwich in Norwood, like you're contributing back to your community. When somebody in Sharon buys something in Sharon that's taxable, so again, your groceries don't really matter, but like when you buy something that's taxable, the 0.75% of your purchase goes to Sharon. So I did the math, for example, like there's a new liquor store in Sharon. If all the purchasing, if $600,000, let's just say, moved over from Cobb's Corner, which is paying Canton, to the Sharon Shaw's Plaza,
Yeah.
that's 2 teachers' salaries. So like a year.
Right.
So in a town where like Sharon's school committee just cut a couple positions. They just had some issues with their budget. So because we don't have any commercial base, so like there's always an issue with the budget. In fairness.
Right.
Now, if you could just move that purchasing, so if I'm Union Oyster House, I'm going, well, like he's got a line of 100 people deep, and every one of them is giving 0.75% back to Canton, Massachusetts.
Right.
When Union Oyster House,
they're well, maybe not Boston residents, but a good percentage of them are Boston residents, probably.
right, and even if they're not, they're using the infrastructure of
in
Boston. Like I'm
right.
sitting right on Boston land, so
Right.
I do think that that's unfair, and so that just ties back to the whole local business thing. Is my point is that like, so if somebody's setting up in their house, are they paying all that? Like if they're not even in compliance with health code, they're definitely not in compliance with the Department of Revenue. Like they're not. So,
Oh yeah.
So
No,
like,
well, health code. I mean, whatever.
So it
Department
is-
of Revenue, they can do, especially during the pandemic. I'm sure there's probably times you can't get a permit. There's probably all sorts, a million different little things. But health code, obviously, for a restaurant, would be the number one issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
No, listen. Obviously, that's an important issue to me. But I'm just saying that like it is actually both of those things matter. And people act like aren't people funny, man? They talk about like people talk about like taxes, like they're not us all in it together. Yeah. So people brag to you about like how they saved on their taxes, right? Like, oh, I was able to write this off, I was able to write that off. But it's like, bro, like you just took money out of the communal pool that we're in.
Yeah.
And I'm not somebody who says like, oh, you have to pay, oh, you should go do this, you should do that. I don't care what you do. I'm just saying when you compare, when you use the phrase local business, you better mean a business.
Yeah.
No, like it's not the same thing as a local artisan. It's just not. And there are people that really are businesses. Like I know a woman, again, I mean, I know I'm keeping it hyper local here, but I know a woman in Sharon who like legit started a business. Like this woman like she went through like crazy licensing. All that costs money.
Yeah.
And then
time, effort,
right.
energy.
So like that woman is a business person. That woman's got a business. That is a local business. It is. It just is. You can say what you want to say. That's a local business. If that woman had not gone that route and instead just tried to sell it like on the internet, like on the low on Facebook, that's not a local business then. So it isn't the same thing. Again, I get that people take this shit personal because it is personal, right? Like I get it. If I'm saying you did this and you were wrong, that is personal. No different than like when somebody says Avi Shemtov can't cook or his food sucks. I mean, I'm going to take that personal.
Right.
But sometimes it's true, and you got to own that. Like, at the end of the day, like we screw people's stuff up. When someone says that, I got to own that. I can't just get mad and angry at them. So it's funny, like here in Sharon, like there's a lot of people that really, really support me. And then there are a few people, like I see them. There are a few people out there. There's one woman in town that openly wished on a Facebook thread that people would stop. I've never got into like my Northeastern expulsion on this podcast, and we don't have to get into the whole story. But there was a kid as part of this Northeastern expulsion So I got expelled from Northeastern. For anybody that isn't already aware of that, that's where Corey and I met. And I got expelled from Northeastern. I was 18 years old. I was
All right,
just
you don't need to go
doing
there.
stupid shit. What? Why?
I mean, no, I'm saying it really wasn't even that dumb.
I mean, no, it was really dumb. But again, my point is, I just want to set the stage
I mean,
for
a million college kids get in a fight.
Sure, I just want to set the stage for like the story that I'm trying, the point that I'm trying to make, which is, so this one kid, like, it ended very badly for him, and for whatever it was worth, without getting into all of it, like, I took responsibility for my end in it. But this kid, like, it didn't go well for him. He said he was gonna hurt me, and it didn't go well for him. And 5 or 6 years later, I was 23 years old, so probably 5 years later, my then girlfriend, now wife, and I were leaving a bar like on a weeknight. Like, we'd had a beer, we were watching trivia or whatever. This guy like followed us with a car, and I could just tell something was up. He got out of the car. We ended up. I could tell I knew him, but I didn't know him from where. I took up my phone to call the police. He got back in his car. He left. I didn't get a plate or anything. And then, like, no bullshit, 5 days later, I was at the Red Sox-Yankees game, and it was the weirdest thing because, like, there was a rain delay in the 9th inning, which never happens, right? So there's a rain delay, and now I'm down. I'm down in like the like concourse. Underneath, like the concourse at Fenway. I come out of the bathroom. Phone rings. I had a flip phone, a razor. Razor pops open, so I pop it open. Someone bumps me, hits the ground. I go to pick it up, and someone crushes it with their foot. So I'm thinking, like, this is a drunk Yankee fan. I'm gonna look up. This is stupid. I look up. First thing that sticks out to me is dude's wearing a Red Sox hat. I just look at him. He goes, "Payback's a bitch." That's what he said to me. So I followed him.
A movie?
So I followed him. I grabbed him. Security came over. They grabbed both of us. I mean, I didn't attack him. I was just trying to not let him go. Security grabbed both of us. They told me they'd seen the whole thing. I was in the right. I was good. They called the police over. The police come. They arrest this guy. When I see his name, I'm like, boom, that's the guy from Northeastern. So I tell all that story to say this, like, psychologist once told me, life is like, you got to think of life like it's this big pond or lake. We're all skipping rocks across it. And every single time you skip a rock, it creates a little puddle. And the little ones, you get to see them close. But the big ones, you don't see them close. They're closing, though. And they're going to someday. And you don't know where. So the point he was trying to make to 18-year-old me was, stop skipping rocks, because unless you're willing to live your whole life wondering how they close.
Yeah, right.
And that was such like a crazy moment for me when this guy had that, because I'm like, wow, here we are 5 years later. I had completely grown up, changed my way. Like, I didn't try to hurt him or anything. He had not grown up. And so my point is that one thing I have learned over time is the more that I grow and the more that I progress and the more that I change, there's still people out there that never do. So these people, like, that is fucked up to wish that on my businesses. My God. But that person also has no friends. Like, everyone hates them. Like, if you asked about them around where they live, everyone will say mean things about them because, what do you think? Like, I'm the one person that you had conflict with? You know, like, in my life.
It's not only that. All right, so, like, trying to boycott your business or organize to boycott your business, that's fucked up. But, like, these people, they don't stop at shit like that, though. They, next they might fucking post your address. You know what I mean? Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility. That's what, people are fucked up, bro. You know what I mean? Like, they be like, attack this guy, whatever. Start a full court press and
I'm the wrong
media.
one.
You know what I mean? Like, if that guy had, if they were a little bit more powerful, maybe they have someone in the fucking Sharon newspaper, fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
oh no,
it's a slippery slope.
Oh no, please don't put me in the Sharon newspaper. I mean, here's the thing, though, Corey. So, no,
but you could say something benign on here, and then they call up, hey, you're comfortable associating yourself with Avi Shem Tov? You know what I mean? Because they're trying to cancel you.
No, I understand.
Boycott you.
I understand. You know I mean, I hope it didn't get that serious, to be honest.
No,
but
not yet. You know, who knows though? You know what I mean? Like, they're already trying to stop.
I mean, listen, if I ever did something that deserved that, I would totally be comfortable going like, that's me. I should probably step out. I will say this, but my point, because the point that I'm trying to make, like, for example, like, you've known me through a lot of stages of my life. There was a time where, like, every time I was in a conflict, right? I don't think I was necessarily always wrong. But the fact that was undeniable was that every time we ever went anywhere, there was a conflict, and it always involved me. So, like, okay, you got to look around, Av, and you got to look at the group and be like, why isn't Corey always beefing? Why isn't Gern always beefing? Why isn't Coco always beefing? Oh, wait, it's just Avi? And it's always, like, there was a time in our life where if someone said, yo, so then we were at this party, and this argument broke out, name the person. No one in the whole building wouldn't have guessed me, right? So I know.
So I love you, though.
I appreciate that, but I've changed a lot in my life to where I'm not like that. Like, in my life now, like, I literally never find myself having a conflict that can't get worked through with any person that's sane. Yeah. So even, and by the way, I'm talking about
I think it's more about
there are people I really don't like. There are people I really don't like, and I work them out. There's a local business owner around who, like, we butt heads. Like, I don't dig him, and I know he doesn't like me. But every time there's kind of like a little thing, like he is a good human being and he is a reasonable person.
Yeah, well, that's a different.
We can just talk it out.
Right.
We just talk it out. He hears me, I hear him. Doesn't always sound pretty.
Right.
I get. But it can be worked out. Whereas like these other people where I'm like, look, like I try to explain myself. They say crazy person stuff. I go, all right, I'll talk to you. You know, like I'm not going to do this with you. Like,
Right,
you know,
right.
if you're a psychopath, I have no interest in having a conversation with
Well,
you.
I bet on Facebook it gets slippery too.
So that's the thing. I just stay off of that. Like,
Yeah, you got
because I'm active on Facebook,
Yeah,
but
I
I
know.
stay out of the like as
But
soon
you
as
can't,
somebody
you can't keep the chain going.
as
It'll
soon
just
as
go
somebody
forever.
comes at me, I'm just like, all right, we're not going to do this here.
Right.
I usually put my phone. You know what I do, and it just stops the whole thing. I just put my phone number right up. I mean, my phone number's so public. I'm like, yo, this is my cell phone number, and call me if you want to talk. Like right there in public. You think they ever call? They never call.
No, of course.
Because like they're shook, and a few people do. And the moment that I see the phone ring, you know what I think to myself? We're gonna work this out.
Yeah.
Because the fact that you had the guts, like you were willing to have the conversation, already tells me you're a reasonable person.
Right.
You saw this and you thought, let's hash this out.
Yeah.
I've had people come to see me, like actually show up at my place of business to see me off of something that we went back and forth with on social media. It never goes sideways. Because the fact that they came there, they didn't come there because they're crazy and they want to fight me. They came there because they realized two human beings in person, tone and everything can be heard. The conversation can be had.
Right.
On Facebook, like I could text you today, yo, Corey, blah, blah, blah. You could misunderstand me. But if we're talking, it's like, all right, you'll know exactly where I'm coming from.
Right.
You know, so again, like when that woman, for example, with the Cocoa Bombs came to see me, I have no animosity towards her. Like I have no beef with her. I absolutely like want to support her business. I think it's cool that people love what she does. I think it's cool that she does that she loves what she does, and she's permitted like, and what she does, even if she wasn't permitted, to be clear, and I know this is a line that people probably think is weird for me to draw, what she's doing could be permitted. So thereby, like, yeah, her not getting a permit or getting a permit is a bureaucratic thing, which isn't for me. I don't care. If you're doing something they don't permit, that means you're doing something wrong.
Right.
You know? So
Well,
like,
I mean, not necessarily. Well, in the business sense, like what you're talking about. But I mean, there's a million, businesses that don't need permits.
no, I'm saying yes, my point is if you're doing something they specifically refuse to permit.
Oh, I got you.
Then
Yeah.
right, then you are doing something that someone has thought about and said, let's not allow that to happen.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right.
Because
Like
I mean,
cooking food and selling it on the street.
right, like you can't do
house.
that.
Yeah.
Right, you can't do that.
This isn't some Pacific Island nation.
Exactly, which would be cool. By the way, listen, like if you
No,
want,
I've eaten street food in a lot of places,
yeah,
and
like
it's fine.
listen, if you don't want to get your home food business permitted, and it's because you are anti-permit, I applaud you, and I think you should go run a campaign against the Board of
Fight
Health.
the man,
Go
baby.
fight the man, and if you win, I will come buy your food products from you. But until then, follow the damn rules. That's all I'm saying, you know?
Right.
So what you think about Cam Newton?
Well, am I gonna have an original take here?
I don't know.
He's not good.
See, I think so I'll have the original take. I like the dude, and I'm excited for year two. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, here's the problem.
I think he can only be better.
No,
well,
of course. But
Who's smarter about football, you, me, or Bill Belichick?
No. Here's the problem. Though.
Sure.
I think this is more. This doesn't say he has faith in Cam Newton. I think this says he has, and this is where I think you're gonna disagree with wholeheartedly.
Okay.
This means he has faith in Josh McDaniels to fix this.
That might be true.
You know what I mean? Because they regressed terribly. You remember how good they were at the beginning of the year?
Yes, I do.
And then at the end of the year, like they literally could not score.
I know.
They could not score.
No, I
you know
know.
what I mean? So like, what about this is gonna be different this year? They're gonna get better skill players. I mean,
So they better. I mean, I hope.
But Cam had trouble with the rush. You know what I mean? Like it's like they went just from good to so bad last year that you can't go games without scoring touchdowns.
No, I know. I mean, I'm not saying that he did well last year. I'm not even
Like,
saying
you're
that.
a Josh McDaniels hater, and it's like, how is he going to fix this? Like he was so unoriginal.
So to be clear though,
last year.
I'm a Josh McDaniels hater on play calling.
Well,
I don't
mean,
doubt
that's his fucking job.
I don't doubt. Right, but the giant part of his job that we don't see, I have always kind of accepted that he must be good at. Like at the end of the day, he
development.
must be good at developing players
Right.
and running an offense. Like let's just keep it real.
Matt Castle might still be in the league, actually. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Like, and
Brian Hoyer's
and by the
still
way,
in the league.
let's just keep it all the way real. Josh McDaniels and/or his predecessors on the offensive side of the ball in New England are so good at what they do that Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback in NFL history, was able to go to a dysfunctional coaching staff, and after they were really dysfunctional for half a season because they were trying their shit, able to implement on his own our shit and go win a Super Bowl. Like at the end of the day, that's one thing that was lost is like how drastically the offense changed in Tampa Bay to essentially Tom Brady's offense.
Yeah.
But Tom Brady didn't create that offense. He was part of it, no doubt. So my point is that's not to say that Josh McDaniels or Bill Belichick deserve credit for the Tampa Bay Super Bowl. It's just to say that like I trust the Patriots' ability to decide whether or not somebody can get it done. And to me, what them re-signing Cam Newton must tell me is either A, they think that Cam Newton could be a decent leader if they find another quarterback above him and that he can stomach it.
No, they didn't sign him to be a freaking mentor to Trey Lance.
No, I didn't assume a mentor to a young guy. I meant like, would he compete against, like, you know who I'd like to see them bring in to compete against Cam?
Jimmy Garoppolo?
I mean, that'd be cool, but no, serious damaged goods, and exactly the opposite of Cam, but I think they'd be an interesting competition.
Oh, God, here we go. I don't even want to hear it, do I?
You know who
Eli Manning? I don't know.
No, Alex Smith.
Alex Smith, no.
I would love to see Alex Smith in here.
See, all right, Cam Newton has a much higher ceiling than Alex Smith.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So that's like, exactly what I mean.
I think the Patriots can win, right? But like with Cam Newton, everything has to go very, very well, right? To beat out Buffalo, to be where they want to be.
I think that's like
Alex Smith ain't gonna get him to the Super Bowl.
But I think that's probably not. No. So what I'm trying to say is that's why I would like those two juxtaposed against each other because. So the biggest problem that the Patriots had last year was when Cam Newton couldn't do Superman things, and he did a couple times, right? When he couldn't do Superman things, they had no one they had no Chad Pennington. They had no one they could just be like, say hike, throw the 8-yard out,
right.
Let's go quietly down a field. So if you had an Alex Smith on this and he was who was competing against Cam, you'd have high ceiling guy and then and high floor guy.
Yeah, but high
Alex
floor
Smith's
guy
floor
is not. Yeah, but he's not. Alex Smith is not beating Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City in the playoffs.
100% not.
You know what I mean? Like Cam might. You know what I mean? Like that's why people kept talking about Fitzpatrick. So why don't they just get Fitzpatrick? Like they're not winning a Super Bowl, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
So again,
he's not good enough.
No. So again,
Cam could be good enough. The Patriots can win, but everything needs to go right.
So we're saying the same thing. I'm saying that Cam might go beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Alex Smith might win 3 regular season games for you for no, like that you just are supposed to win.
I mean, unless Cam's hurt.
So I'm saying either Cam's hurt or if it's like sort of if it's a stumbling situation. So my point is,
he's gonna have a very short leash.
Yeah,
you can't start out 1-3 and then be like, oh Cam, we're gonna stick with Cam the whole year. You know what I mean?
So my point is, I bet you if Alex Smith, not at his best, but if a reasonable facsimile of Alex Smith had been on this team this past year, there would have been stretches where he would have been your starter while Cam worked it out in practice. My point is you would have had a guy that could go throw for 200 yards and win you a game against the Dolphins.
Yeah, well, Cam beat the Dolphins.
I know he did. No, again, listen, Cam Newton is I want Cam Newton back here for the same reason that for exactly actually what you're saying, which is that his ceiling is really high. So to me, if you're Bill Belichick, you look across the NFL.
Well, that's what it is. Like, so it's like Cam versus who?
Right.
Okay. So at this point, Cam is the best option.
Right. So exactly, like
But I thought there was supposed to be all this quarterback movement this year.
Right.
That's the
it was
thing.
supposed to be, but so I mean, I'm going to say something really crazy. I'd rather have Cam Newton than Matt Stafford. I would. I don't think Matt Stafford wins you a Super Bowl. Yeah. I don't think he wins anybody a Super Bowl. And the truth is, he's going to be better. The percentage chances that he is better than Cam Newton, significantly better than Cam Newton, are really high. Like almost guaranteed he will be. But Cam Newton is so special when he's on that if everything lined up, like you said, you could go win. So my point is,
the problem is it's not like he played like 3 games last year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I wanted Cam to get a starting job in the NFL this year. I wanted to see what he could do. He still has the talent to do it.
Sure.
But like we saw him start 15 games last year.
Right. With who though? With who? Like he needs wide receivers, man.
I mean
I like the rushing attack.
No, but like they beat Baltimore, right, at home.
Yep.
And then from then they were just pitiful.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? So it's
but to your point though, they could do like those things lined up for him. And then there were games like forget about the offense even.
But the offensive job is to score points, and they don't score.
Agreed.
They did not score.
Agreed. But again, like that's where there are guys, to equate it to basketball. Sometimes you need look at the Nets, for example, right? Like Kyrie Irving is going off this season, and he's crazy and he's filthy. And, I mean, yeah, fuck him. But then there's Harden and then Durant. Now, when playoffs come around, their whole offense is going to look different because there are going to be times where you just got to go get one, and they got one guy who's guaranteeing you that, and that's Durant, and the ball's going through him in those moments. The Patriots they needed that. They had nobody who, in a pinch, could just go get you X, Y, or Z. Sometimes you just need 10 yards to get this drive going.
Yeah.
Like Julian Edelman healthy all year would have been different. Because like sometimes you just needed somebody who could go do something, and you had nobody.
But here, this is my other point though. Like, how many times did we say the Patriots run into the line on first down?
Yeah, no, Josh McDaniels sucks.
And then
you know
like,
I feel that way.
No, but like 3rd and 10, like they're running draws and shit. You know what I mean? Like they didn't even put the ball in his hands a lot of times.
Let me ask you this: is there a single wide receiver out there and available?
He's better at a 15, 20-yard throw than he is a 4-yard throw.
Agreed.
You know
is there a single wide receiver out there that's going to be available that you think could really add something here?
No, like Kenny Golladay. No,
I mean, I don't think anything's gonna.
I don't think anybody's gonna be that playmaker for them. You know what I mean? Like, I guess
Me
it's
neither.
not gonna be N'Keal Harry.
I know. Oh, they're trading him, right?
Well, I mean,
The rumor?
apparently people want him, but I'm just saying.
The biggest problem with Cam is when he went back to pass.
And become a pocket passer.
Yep.
He could not feel the rush, and he never. At the beginning of the year, when they needed it, like against Seattle and all that, he'd go back to pass and then he'd run. That's what he needs to do.
Sure.
You know what I mean? He needs to feel the rush and run, or just get rid of it. You can't just stand there and hold it and be a statue because you're too athletic for that.
Right.
You know, and here's the thing too, huge goal line threat. You need to get down there though. You can't just fucking, you can't run the wishbone offense the whole game and expect to break the 50-yard line.
I agree with you on all counts. I just think they need. I mean, that's why I think like, they need to go find a wide receiver. But I don't know that there's even one available.
No, I mean, I think Golladay is the best. Allen Robinson got franchised. Godwin got franchised.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is why this exact scenario though is why I always wanted Tom Brady to play with the Patriots until he was 50. I never cared about him getting old on the Patriots dime. Never. I would have loved to sign him to a 3-year, $100 million contract.
Who?
Tom Brady.
Oh, you mean of course.
No, but it's not, of course. I mean, a lot of people wonder, he's getting old, but let's move on to the next phase. But you don't have a next phase. There is no next phase. Okay? It's Tom Brady winning Super Bowls, and you can't score points.
That's true.
You know? So, like, I just don't. I don't like being in this position with no quarterback whatsoever, and that's what it is. I mean, them signing Cam means that they really didn't have much of a plan. Is that you?
Yeah, it's actually it's because we're running it through my
responded?
Facebook. I wasn't, but
I was gonna say you should just look at it there because you can't see that thing anyway.
well, I got to get it wrapped up because I do have to go make this catering order.
Okay, but Josh McDaniels though, he is the key. That means.
Yeah, which sucks because I don't have a lot of faith in that guy.
And I used to have all the faith in the world, but they sucked last year. All right, a catering order for us. So everything's still open though. Ala Esh is open, Simca's open. Support your local business. Is that the motto of this one?
Yeah, and by the way, not even just my local business. Just support a local business. And when you do go support a local business, which I think would be dope of you, keep it a local business. Understand, it's not Avi and his family you have to support, or the owner and his family. My point is, it's their staff, it's their linen company, it's it's how we keep the utility bills paid. It's like there's just a whole supply chain that you feed when you feed small businesses. And if you're out there competing against small businesses, that's cool, but that's on you and you got to own it. Like, you have to own it. Don't say you support us if you're competing against us. Yeah. That's all.
Don't stop ordering from Amazon. Is that the other?
I mean, I don't sell anything that Amazon sells, so.
I don't even have an Amazon account. Can you believe that?
Yeah, Adrian does. I just use hers. But, like, again, like, if you want to use Amazon, use Amazon. Like, I don't care.
No, it is funny,
I'm not anti-Amazon. I don't care.
It is funny, though. People, like, want to stay in their house forever and, like, you think, like, somebody's delivering that package to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, someone's working in that warehouse. Like, you're not just...
Yep, 100%. So, all right, cool.
All right, peace out. Heat in the kitchen.
Heat in the kitchen. All right, you're going to try to get this back? I got to go turn my equipment on upstairs.